Why would you want to go to cameo.com and have a personalized shout out? Come to nowondeck.com, find me, Ron Hall, and I'll do one just for you. Birthdays, anniversaries, whatever you want, a personalized video or audio greeting for you now on nowondeck.com. Hey, everybody, how are you tonight? It's a dreary Saturday night here in the Chattanooga area. We hope everybody's doing okay. Hello, Diane. Hello, Kim. And hello, Alan. We are soon to be joined by the hosts of an all-new YouTube channel, Chris and Eddie T. They'll be joining us, waiting on them to join the conversation. And we're going to talk about what they have started, and it's called Scream Time, devoted to horror movies, which means I broke out the green screen tonight. And can anybody tell me what movie that's from behind me? Can anybody tell me? And we'll talk about it once they come in, because for me, it's the greatest horror movie ever made. I don't know if you can call it a horror movie, but all these years later, it still makes me very uncomfortable. So they'll be joining us here momentarily. I have sent them the link to join into the show, and we'll get them on here just as quick as possible. Let you know what's going on with Amy. Still struggling. Unfortunately, she had to have an emergency procedure done yesterday. And it was an emergency. Not more I can add, not much more I can add to that. And she's very uncomfortable, and that has made the struggle even harder as she attempts to beat her addiction. So please keep her in your thoughts and your prayers and all of that, because they are desperately needed now. This was devastating yesterday, and there's a follow-up Wednesday. So we've got our fingers crossed, and I think both of the guys are with us. Let's get them in here. There's Chris, and there is Eddie T, all the way from England.
Yeah,
they are here joining us on Jump Into the Fire. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing good, Ron. Thanks. Yeah.
What time is it over there, Eddie?
It's just coming up 5 past midnight. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Are you used to staying up this late?
Yeah, I'm a night owl.
And I see Chris has got the vape going and all that good stuff. All right, guys. Scream Time.
Correct.
New venture on YouTube. Guys, explain it to us.
Yeah.
Well, basically, we take apart the horror movie genre. We talk about the ins and the outs, behind the scenes, give you more backstory towards the film.
Yeah.
And if it's based on true events, we cover that as well. Yeah. We cover loads of different things. We do top 10s, and we're just all around crazy, horror loving fans.
That's it.
Now, Eddie T.
Yeah.
You're in England. Yeah. What part of England are you in, sir?
Birmingham.
Birmingham?
The birthplace of heavy metal.
Now,
Yeah.
you and Chris have been buddies for quite a while. How did you two get acquainted?
Through an
A former friend, a former
Yeah.
mutual friend through the vaping YouTube world that we were a part of.
yeah, that's it.
Now, you've done a couple of episodes so far.
Yeah.
How are those being received?
Well, I mean, they are being received quite good.
Yeah, we've had quite a few views.
We've got, our first video got over 30.
Yeah, that's it.
30 some odd, 37 views. I mean, our most recent podcast that we did here on Facebook got about 10 views. We're just now coming into the social media as far as I just made the Facebook account along with the Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. How do they follow you on Twitter and Instagram?
The Twitter, it is going to be, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Scream Time Horror 1.
Yeah.
Just type in Scream Time Podcast. You'll be put into the channel. I will just link it into your live stream there. Red Zone.
Yeah. I gotta get rid of that name.
No, that
Never
name
going to go
makes
away.
Mm.
You would think after almost 25 years in TV and radio, that name would finally go away, but I don't guess it will. Now, you see behind me, I broke out the green screen tonight. I'm not in the living room.
Yeah. The Exorcist.
To me, that is the greatest horror film of all time, The Exorcist.
Yeah.
It still scares the living hell out of me.
Yeah. For a few years running now, in the UK, they had I think it's been running for over 10 years now. In the last few years, they had a poll on the most scariest horror film of all time, and The Exorcist always come at number 1.
And it's still, you can still watch it today after all these years. I mean, this is a
Still
mid-1970s movie, and it just still scares the bejesus out of you.
Yeah.
Because we see people that are like that.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time.
Yeah. Back in the day, Ron, in the 70s, when that came out in the UK, people were literally being put in the mental institutions and coming out in the cinema and literally vomiting. Yeah.
And people were so repulsed.
Yeah.
Excuse me, by the gore, which really wasn't gore.
No.
But they actually walked out of the theaters because they could not handle it.
Yeah. Some people asked for the money back.
Yeah. You've got some that actually literally, put themselves into a mental hospital because they could not handle the just the status of the film. The all-around creepiness of the film. I mean, it was there for shock value.
Yeah.
And you've got to give kudos to the people involved. There was supposedly supposed to be a bunch of rumors that people and weird things had started happening on set.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you don't know if you take that by face value or what, but that's the thing.
The thing about it, it was realistically, other than Roller Boogie, the only film. Well, Linda Blair did a couple of films afterwards as she grew up, and one of them was hilarious because it was Repossessed was the title of the film, and it was hilarious because she's making fun
of what she had
her
done.
character.
Yeah.
And I think Leslie Nielsen was even in it.
Yes.
Because it came out during the same time as Airplane. Now, the modern day horror film, is there one that stands above everybody else?
Not so
now,
much.
if you're talking not particularly, because the modern horror films are so lackluster of a film. Films, the acting is not the greatest.
The acting is like a bad porn.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, I mean, you look at it. You've got the actors and actresses that deliver stale lines. There's way too many jump scares, and jump scares aren't scary; they're just frightening. And there's way too much CG.
Today's horror films haven't got any sack. Yeah, part of the language.
Would Hollywood be served by going back and perhaps looking at some of the old horror films and possibly redoing those? I mean, they've tried it with Frankenstein, but man, it's hard to top that original with Boris Karloff.
Yes. What Boris Karloff did for Frankenstein, and what Lon Chaney did for the Wolfman, and what Bela Lugosi did for Dracula, nobody can really top what they did, and just the level of showmanship portraying these characters.
I tell you what, though, and I don't know if you've seen it. It's the version of Dracula with Frank Langella playing the Count. It's a 70-ish, early 80-ish movie. I remember when Chris was growing up. Hey, Linda. Hey, Jane. When Chris was growing up, we rented Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman. Which was not bad.
No.
But, and I can't think of the one. It was, God forbid, Tom Cruise.
No, you're thinking of The Mummy.
No, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt was his.
Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That movie still kind of stands the test of time, because yes, both actors are.
Well, if you want to call Tom Cruise an actor.
No, I just want to call him. I don't want to use foul language.
I want to call him midget. I'm short, but it's nice to know that Tom Cruise is shorter than I am. So is Sylvester Stallone, and I am the same height as Mel Gibson. There's a reason for that. There's a reason Mel Gibson is on horseback giving that speech in Braveheart. Is because the horse was taller than he is.
He had to have help onto the horse, for crying out loud.
But I mean, and I got to thinking about it all day, and I still, if I want to, I mean, somebody actually tried to classify Jaws as a horror movie.
In a way, it is.
Yeah.
Because it would terrified.
Back in the day when Jaws came out, they didn't scare the shit out of them, and they didn't go swimming or something.
Yeah. It just terrified the crap out of people.
Yeah.
And Spielberg played it right by waiting so long before you saw the shark. You were terrified from just hearing the dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And Richard Dreyfuss and
oh God, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah. Nah, well, that man being an alcoholic as he was, the notorious, but that actor played that role pretty well.
Robert Shaw was
Yeah.
good playing Quint.
Yes.
I mean,
There's nobody. I don't think nobody could touch Robert Shaw. He just delivers his lines so eloquently, even though he was hammered through a majority of the film.
well, folks out there, you can go back and watch the old Dick Van Dyke Show and understand during the early 60s when they were doing the Dick Van Dyke Show, Dick Van Dyke was hammered every episode because he will tell you he was a functional alcoholic.
Yeah.
He was drinking every day.
Yeah.
But does Robert Englund stand by himself among the latest generation of horror actors?
He's a legend in horror.
Well, yeah. I mean, as far as Robert Englund is,
he's up there with Christopher Lee, isn't it?
Yeah, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing,
Legends.
Yeah.
We could be having a storm come through. Okay, in case you missed it, Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Is he the gold standard for horror actors?
He's right up there with
the last 30 years.
Yeah. He's right up there with Peter Cushing,
Yeah.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Nobody can hold a mantle on what Robert Englund did for the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Yeah. He's the only guy in slasher film history, and he basically brought humor to the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to bring one I'll bet you neither one of you have seen. And all it was the title of it, and it was Dirt. It was the guy from the A-Team. And it was, I guess it was said, all it was S's, where it was kind of like the island of Dr. Moreau, where the Dr. Moreau, and to me, that's a great horror film, where he transforms normal human beings into animals.
Now are you talking?
And and on this one, the guy was Dirk Bogart or something was transformed into a king cobra at the end. A cobra with human eyes.
Yeah.
It was more campy than it was anything.
Yeah.
But the island of Dr. Moreau still, that's to me, a terrifying movie.
Now, if you're which one are you talking about? The original or the remake?
Well, I like the original, and then the first remake was with Burt Lancaster.
Yeah.
And Michael York.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Dirk Benedict. Yes. Thank you, Linda Vole down in Florida.
Yeah.
But those were both great.
Yeah.
And it was just mesmerizing to watch as Dr. Moreau transformed them into those animals and those humans becoming animals.
Yeah.
And governing themselves I can't think of a better way to put it, but they were governing themselves as animals, and they finally got rid of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah. But you look at the island of Dr. Moreau, and you see almost the decline of, in a way, practical effects, makeup effects, because you don't see that in today's modern horror movies.
There's no Eddie Baker anymore.
There's no Eddie Baker. I mean, you got to also Tom Savini, who has a school in his own house that he is teaching the next
generation of special effects.
Yeah.
Okay, Eddie, you're going to have to excuse me a minute. I'm still trying to figure out how my damn son got so well versed in horror movies.
Oh, no.
This is horror movies, metal music, because he's obviously become an Iron Maiden fan.
Yeah.
You can blame that one down here.
Yeah.
and professional wrestling.
Yeah.
But that's because he used to be a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
And but what do we look forward to? The future of horror films.
I'd like him to go back to bare basics.
Yeah.
Go back to the way it was in the 70s. The writing and that.
Yeah, go back to brass tacks.
Yeah.
And
They're too scared to that.
yeah, that's that. Well, this generation nowadays, the directors and actors that come up into these films, they don't do their homework.
No.
They are like, okay, let's just slap this name on here and think that, oh, this is going to be a 1 in a millionth movie because it has the name Exorcist.
Yeah.
There is a reboot in the works with The Exorcist.
Oh, come on.
But it's not going to hold a candle to what it was.
No.
Well, who the hell are they going to get to play the Max von Sydow character? Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
I mean, he's old enough, but
the ex-Max von Sydow, he passed away, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just, I'm not big on Hollywood remakes of any kind.
I'm not really.
No.
They just, if somebody really wants to put their heart into it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody out there in Hollywood wants to pay homage to the classics by remaking them the right way.
Yeah.
To me, you get the original script.
Yeah.
And you work off of it. You don't try to write a new one.
Yeah.
You use that original script.
Yeah.
And get a competent director.
That's the problem. They don't know how to get a competent director.
Because the good ones aren't going to touch it.
No, they pull these directors from Sweden or Norway or Russia or something.
Yeah.
They just pull all these directors in. Okay, think of what you're going to do. We're going to call it this, and it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, it's sad. While Eddie's with us, I got to ask, how is Great Britain dealing with COVID?
It's stabilised, then the levels drops. Now they're on the rise. Because I'm Birmingham born, but I live in a place called Solihull. It's where they make the Range Rovers and not far from Aston Martin. Yeah. The next Tuesday, in my area, Smithswood and Solihull itself and Birmingham, you're not allowed to go and even, you can't go in your neighbour's house and that. Yeah. You can't be in groups of more than 6. Yeah. That's because of the younger ones, because they've been like holding parties with basically a large number of people in the house, basically making it harder for everybody else. Yes, so the government's cracking the whip. Mm.
Well, making a visit is still on my bucket list. I've got to go.
Yeah.
And I've got to walk across the street at Abbey Road.
Yeah.
I got to.
London.
I mean, I'll probably never make it over there, but I want to. That.
Yeah. Is the Cavern on your list? The place the Beatles first played. Yeah. It's well famous.
If I don't have to fly, I could make the trip.
Yeah, that's in Liverpool, those.
I just don't want to be at 36,000 feet above 5 Mile deep ocean. My son knows me well enough. And since you can't smoke on an air travel any longer.
That's true.
Oh, well, I would be dead. All right, guys. Thanks for taking a few minutes with us tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
My son and Chris and Eddie T. When's the next edition going to be on air?
Let's see. We've got coming up very soon. We've got the Hack and Slash
Yeah.
We're hacking apart the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and then the next live stream is going to be next Friday at 7 once again.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking the Hammer films.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
The greatest horror studio of all time. There's no question.
Yeah.
Excuse me. They took the mantle from Universal.
Yeah.
Because Universal, they made their bones on horror films in the 30s.
Yeah.
And now you look at what they've become, but it was Frankenstein, Dracula, those horror films that made Universal what it is now. And then when they got out of that genre, Hammer Films, they take it over.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, Peter Cushing was a...
Yeah, he was. Even some of the slasher film directors like Sam Raimi, what's his name?
What one are we talking about?
Guy that did Elm Street.
I'll give Peter Cushing his props.
Yeah.
He may be the king of horror films.
Well, you got Christopher Lee as well. That was opposite Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
Who played Dracula more time. He played it over 10. Yeah. Over 10 times played Dracula in the Hammer films.
Only once as well.
And the symmetry of it, you had Peter Cushing in Star Wars.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And then you had Christopher Lee playing Count Dooku.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's right.
I mean, how maybe ironic it is that two all-time great horror film actors ended up being in the biggest franchise in movie history.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Although I'm still partial to the James Bond series.
I've been a Bond fan since I was a kid.
I mean, I hate that this is the final go around for Daniel Craig because he has been the best since Connery.
Well, you got to think also with this last go around.
You know the UK actor Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might work. I tell you,
he would make a good Bond.
The guy I have just been, I think would have made a good Bond, but now he says he doesn't want to be considered. Is Damian Lewis?
Oh, Damian Lewis, yeah. Right.
I mean, I watch him on the Showtime series Billions as Bobby Axelrod, and he would make a perfect Bond. But Cumberbatch, hey,
he's quite a good actor.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Because you got to have the Bond series continue.
Yeah.
It's like the other night I threw out the one film where Bond got married, and that was the only appearance of George Lazenby when he married Diana Rigg
on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah.
Well, see, with my opinions on
Diana Rigg passed away a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I know, and I was just devastated because I have
82 years old. It's a good age.
I mean, hey, Helen Mirren, is still a beauty. What is she? 82.
I think she's in the mid to late 70s. I think.
Hey, if she called me today and proposed,
she's 83.
I would say yes, ma'am. I'm in. Yeah. But I talked about the passing of Diana Rigg.
Yeah.
Her and Audrey Hepburn may be the two most beautiful women that have ever graced this planet.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, Diana Rigg was a lovely, lovely woman. Guys, we will be watching. Thanks for joining us. I know it's late out there, Eddie.
Yeah, it is.
And when I get off the air, I'm going to have a cup of coffee in your honor so I can stay awake for a little while tonight and binge watch 2.5 Men.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks.
Hey, no problem.
That's
Yeah.
Scream Time, guys.
Thanks
And
for having
y'all will enjoy it. You guys will definitely enjoy it. They know what they're talking about. Eddie T, my son Chris. What's an ex-professional wrestler supposed to do other than do live streams about horror movies? Sounds like a good thing to me. Doesn't it to you? But that being said, a special thanks to those guys. No, Tina, I saw that because I wanted to spend a lot of time with the guys. Dr. Moreau turned the humans into animals, if I'm not mistaken. And one day, Channel 208 on Comcast, that's This TV, one of the offshoots of Channel 9, will show it. No doubt about it. Or because if you're like, to me, the original concept of Netflix was great. It saved you going to the video store and all of this. But now they are so heavily dependent on original programming, they have forgotten that people like to watch movies also. And so their catalog of movies is more the last 15 years or so. And used to be 4 or 5 years ago, you could go on Netflix and, for instance, search John Wayne. And you get this long list of John Wayne movies available on Netflix. They're not out there anymore. And it would be nice to have a source for those. It's like when Comcast in Chattanooga changed the packaging about 6 months ago and removed Turner Classic Movies and bundled it with sports package. I don't need the sports package. I'm not obsessed with watching sports 24/7. And I lost Turner Classic Movies. And I miss it because I am one of those people. I love old movies. Hollywood in its heyday. Gary Cooper, Jimmy Stewart, Audrey Hepburn, Paul Newman, Gregory Peck. I mean, it's so rare now to be able to watch To Kill a Mockingbird. And these are the times when perhaps people should watch To Kill a Mockingbird. Because the reaction Thursday night to the players at the Texans-Chiefs game was kind of disturbing to me. First of all, yes, Cary Grant, Judy. And every time I think of Cary Grant, I can't help but think of that poor, hapless, dim-witted goober pile, Judy. The people who are up in arms over the players and the national anthem in the NFL, let me clue you in on a little secret. Because you want to chime in and you want to say, oh, I bet a high school player, or if a high school or college player does that, I'm done with them too. It's not going to happen on the high school or the college level. You know why? Because the national anthem is played before the teams even come out of the locker rooms in high school and college football. And perhaps that's the way it should be in the NFL. Play the anthem before the players come out. Then maybe those who complain will not have anything to complain about. I've been around college and high school football for damn near 30 years. And the anthem is played before the players come out of the locker room. Only in the NFL do they play it with them on the field. And just because they're athletes does not mean they do not have the right to protest. And as I have said a million times the last few years, I am a veteran of the United States Navy. I served this country to defend their right to protest. Just because they're paid millions upon millions of dollars does not, they don't give up their right to be offended by racism and to boo them prior to the game and then to cheer them when they score a touchdown. That is the height of hypocrisy. That's fact. Kind of like the senator down there in Georgia, Kelly Loeffler, who has introduced a Senate bill designed to really crack down on protesters. Aren't there more pressing issues in this country right now than curbing the right to protest? We have millions upon millions of people unemployed. We have millions upon millions of people who are struggling because they were temporarily put out of work due to COVID. And yet, they can't come together to help the people. They want to play to their base. Oh, this protesting is wrong and we must stamp it out and make it a federal offense to protest. Kelly Loeffler needs to get a damn life. Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee needs to get a damn life. And quit kissing the ass of Donald Trump. You're supposed to be kissing the ass of the people who elected you. Isn't that what it's supposed to be about? Representing your people? And if that's what they think the majority of Georgians or the majority of Tennesseans want, more than something to help people get through these difficult times, that's a huge statement by the populace. But I'll get off my soapbox. There's been a little bit of college football today. I was fortunate enough to spend a few minutes watching the Charlotte and Appalachian State, not Appalachian, Appalachian State, not Appy State, App State. I say that because their sports information directors will tell you in no uncertain terms it's Appalachian, not Appalachian. It's App State, not Appy. And, excuse me, and yes, that's right. Tina, regular watcher. She served this country also. Thank you, Tina. In fact, I think you were in the Navy also, just like me. But I was able to watch App State and Charlotte play, two teams that I have a little bit of a relationship with. Will Healy, quarterback at Boyd Buchanan, Richmond, then an assistant coach for the Mocs. Spent a lot of time interviewing Will Healy during the old Stump on Sports days. He's the head coach at Charlotte. Courtney Braswell, Las Vegas boy. For those who don't know, Las Vegas is Rossville, Georgia, who went to Baylor and Liberty and has coached at, where hasn't he coached at? Head coach at Central High School after being an assistant for several years in Chattanooga area, was the head coach at Central High School, then took over after Coach Tank left Ridgeland, and he took over there and then left Ridgeland after a year to become an assistant coach at the University of Louisville. And now he is an assistant coach at App State. So kind of a relationship there. And it was interesting to watch. Finally, in the end, App State wins it rather handily there at the end. I am shocked last night in high school football. I'm not shocked that Cleveland beat the hell out of Saudi Daisy. I'm not even going to talk about Dalton Ridgeland. I was surprised that McCallie beat Calhoun. So that removes all doubt that McCallie is the best team in this area. So we'll see what happens next week. In case you didn't hear, South Pittsburgh did defeat Marion County last night by forfeit because Marion County had a player test positive, and so the game had to be canceled. Forfeit win for South Pittsburgh. Meigs County beat Clinton last night by forfeit because Clinton reported positive cases. Mocs volleyball played their only match of the year today and did defeat Georgia State. Way to go, Coach Travis Filer and Mocs volleyball. The lone soccer match of the season was to take place tomorrow night at 6 o'clock versus Georgia State, and that has now been canceled. So I will not be working until probably the last week of November, the week after Thanksgiving. That's where the rumor is that the NCAA is going to allow the start of college basketball is the week after Thanksgiving. They're having a meeting this week to determine when college basketball is going to be allowed to start. And I said it earlier today. I watched a bit of the Notre Dame Duke game, and it's still, without question, Notre Dame has the best uniforms in all of college football. It's not even close. Don't even argue about it with me, because there's something about that gold helmet with that dark, deep navy blue jersey and the gold pants. That stuff is unreal. Folks, it's been a fun night. Thank you for watching. It has been a blast. You guys are incredible, and you humble me every time you tune in. We will be back Monday night, 7 o'clock. We'll keep you updated on Amy. Like I said, she had to have an emergency procedure done yesterday morning. She is at home resting the best she can. It's rather uncomfortable. And humans should not have to go through what that daughter of mine is going through right now. So share the GoFundMe page, because when she gets well from the procedure, the trek is still on to find the right place for her addiction treatment. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Big thanks to Chris and Eddie T from Birmingham, England, for joining us well after midnight for Eddie. And we'll see you Monday night, 7 o'clock, right here on Facebook Live and YouTube. Don't forget, follow me on Twitter at RZR Hall. Friend me on Facebook. I'm not going to try to influence your vote either, I promise. But until then, please be kind to each other. Good night.
That's all, folks.
Why would you want to go to cameo.com and have a personalized shout out? Come to nowondeck.com, find me, Ron Hall, and I'll do one just for you. Birthdays, anniversaries, whatever you want, a personalized video or audio greeting for you now on nowondeck.com.